So I want to bring you a few just quick updates, and before I do though, I want to recognize Vice Mayor Jones for his years of service at Averett University as Director of Facilities. We're grateful for your service all those years and your devotion to Averett and all the things you did to make us stronger. So thank you, and we just wish you the very, very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, just a few quick updates. We've got a lot of exciting things happening at our hometown university. Let me see if I can move through them pretty quickly for you. Our enrollment is approximately 1,800 undergraduate and graduate students. They are online, they are on ground, and those 1,800 are literally across the Commonwealth and beyond. The number of students enrolled at from our region continues to grow, and I'm really pleased to be able to report that. We currently have 401 students from our region alone, and by region, Caswell County, City of Danville, Pittsylvania County, 401. Wow. I think that's great. I think that's a good number, and again, it continues to grow. Our students come from 22 states and 14 foreign countries. In this 2016 entering class, we've had 320 first-year freshmen and transfer students. Approximately 50% of our freshmen this year are the first in their family to attend college. And we all know how significant that is, not only to them, but to their families, and ultimately to the community. In December, we graduated our first nursing class, and all of them are working in the region. We're proud of that. Our School of Nursing recently received accreditation by the Commission on Collegiate Nursing Education for the 5-year maximum term that we could have been awarded. I'd like to say that's an easy process. It is not. It's highly rigorous, and we were very, very proud to receive our full accreditation. And I want to promise you that we're not stopping there with the nursing program. We are very much studying a Master's of Science in Nursing with a certification in family nurse practitioning, as well as some other areas. So we only intend to grow in the health sciences. Our graduate and professional studies program is now approved to offer online classes in 36 states. That's significant. You've heard, you've read, we've added 3 new NCAA intercollegiate athletic programs. We're adding men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, and wrestling. Over 4 years, those 3 sports alone, we expect to add an additional 90 students. That's exciting, obviously. We've already hired 2 fantastic coaches for the men's and the women's lacrosse programs, and we're close to being able to name a wrestling coach. The lacrosse teams will benefit from being able to play on the new Daly Field and the new Frank Campbell Stadium, where we celebrated its grand opening on September 17th. I cannot tell you how excited we are to be able to open that stadium for not only Averett University, but for the entire community. Among Division III colleges and universities in this nation, I promise you that stadium is state-of-the-art, and it is truly at the top. And so when you think about what we have in this city, know that we have really raised the bar high with this facility. And I would say if you've not had a chance to get there, please don't let the season pass without coming to a game. Several of you have joined us in the new President's Suite. We have games remaining, 3 games, October 15, November 7th and November 12th, when we celebrate Military Appreciation Day. So the stadium, we're most grateful. And former Councilman Buddy Raleigh, also VP for Institutional Advancement, is just a couple rows back. I'm so grateful for his leadership in making that facility possible. So, and so many other things possible. But I can't talk about the stadium without talking about Buddy Raleigh. All right, let me switch gears to Averett's commitment to this community in terms of volunteerism, in terms of giving back. And you know, obviously, as I've reported to you before, our service to the region is just part of our DNA, and I'm just so proud of what our students are doing to make the community stronger. One of the ways that our students give back to the community is through what we call service learning classes. This fall, 24 of our courses are service learning courses. And you say, what is a service learning class? It's basically where we combine theory with community action. It's the best of learning, and students love it. Some of the locations where our students are currently serving through the curriculum include Stratford House, Riverside Health and Rehabilitation Center, Danville Redevelopment Housing Authority, Virginia Organizing, the Danville Church-Based Tutorial Program, God's Storehouse, and obviously many other places. Just a couple of weeks ago, we held our Week to Engage, the first one of the year. We'll do another one in the spring. In total, we had 500 volunteers from Averett University, Danville Community College, and Piedmont Community College. They served over 1,150 hours. When you calculate the economic benefit of these hours, it's over $27,000 to the Dan River region. We partnered with 27 community partners and involved ourselves in literally over 80 projects. Very, very proud. You've heard me say our mission before. It's to prepare our students to go out and serve and to lead as catalysts for positive change. And we do that through these kinds of community engagement opportunities. And we're not only telling our students what they should be involved in, we're showing them. We're showing them how, and we're giving them credit for it. We're always so proud and so grateful when we receive national rankings. And I hope that's a source of pride for the city as well. As I think all of you have probably heard, U.S. News and World Report ranked Averett as the number 20 best regional liberal arts college in the South, which is our highest ranking ever. We're very, very proud of that, and that is truly a That ranking is such a tribute to our faculty and to our staff, our students, our alumni, to all who support us, because that would not be possible without a true team effort. The other ranking we've received that is very, very special to us is we were ranked by U.S. News and World Report as the 9th best regional college in the South for veterans. Averett has had a long-standing commitment to our servicemen and women of the military, and we're just very proud of that ranking as well. Just a few other quick updates. This summer, we hosted literally more than 1,500 young adults who came from churches all over Virginia, North Carolina, the Southeast, and they performed volunteer work throughout the city. Literally 6 weeks of volunteer hours that they gave. Over on the North Campus, we had almost 500 children from the community who came for our sports camps. They were learning from our great coaches. They were learning fundamentals. And Averett was becoming basically a home base for them at an early age, and we love that. In addition to the influx of campers who descended upon our campus this summer, literally 144 people worked on our North Campus to make the $5.3 million Frank Campbell Stadium possible. That's a wonderful investment in our economy through local workers, and I just thought you would be interested in knowing that. We're announcing several new partnerships this fall. We have very pleased to be able to partner with Danville Regional Medical Center to offer a health and wellness center on campus. We are partnering with the Y like never before. We're now, I think, at 250 some of our students who have memberships at the Y. We are thrilled about that. Our aviation program, which is attracting literally students from around the country, boasted its largest entering class this year. We've also announced partnerships with Piedmont Airlines, with PSA, and the Marine Corps. Those partnerships are significant in terms of helping our students afford college as well as land good jobs. We know how important that is. Finally, and this one is so exciting, as we just recently completed our $29 million comprehensive campaign, we now announce a $28 million campaign that will be solely focused on the transformation of all of Averett's residence halls. One of the greatest things about having been around since 1859 is we are historic and we are proud of our traditions. One of the challenges of having been around since 1859 is we have some older buildings. So we're ready now to tackle those. Now that we have dealt with so many things across Averett's footprint, we will now go out and seek to raise $28 million to transform the residence halls over a 10-year period. We will start with Main Hall. So that's a $3.2 million project, so you will be hearing more about that, but we will start with Main Hall, and as soon as we can get that one done, we'll probably move to Davenport, and then Danville, and we'll get them all done. So we're very, very excited about that. Please know we invite you to join us on campus anytime. Come to games, come to fine arts events, lectures, eat in the dining hall, come be a part of it. And during the holidays, come enjoy the decorations on our campus. Finally, I want to say, join us for homecoming, October 15 and 16. Nothing thrills us more than to drive down Main Street and see all the businesses that celebrate their hometown university. But come be a part of that weekend. We'll probably have 4,000 people at least on the North Campus, so come early. Again, I want to say thank you for everything you do to support our hometown university. Importantly, tell me what we can do to help the city. We try to help every day, but we're committed to doing more. And so I always welcome your feedback tonight, tomorrow, next month, whenever. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council.
Thank you. Councilman Campbell.
Dr. Franks, we really do appreciate the words that you have stated tonight. You said something. Tell us what Avery can do for Danville. I like to say you need to tell us what Danville can do for Avery. I was there for the dedication of the stadium, Dr. Campbell Stadium. I enjoyed myself. On the bad thing about what happened, we lost the game.
Only by 2 points. Only by 2.
But the stadium, everything just out of sight was really, really nice. And I just appreciate everything that you have done in your administration, and for former Councilman Buddy Rowley for his work that he's doing to support Everett, even though I am an alumni of Everett, but I just appreciate all that you're doing, and we really highly, highly esteem the work that you've done. May God bless you.
Thank you so much, and I promise you, as we have ways that the city can even further support us, we will speak up about that. We do, and again, I just think we have shared a great partnership, and just we make each other stronger, I hope, and that's always my pledge, to do everything for our city. Thank you for your comments.
Councilman Jones.
Dr. Franks, I remember sitting in your office when you first arrived in Danville, and we sat at there. First, we sat at your home, and people don't know this about Dr. Franks and Joe. They just were so humble. They invited us to their home, and we had pizza at the table. And from then, I went to your office, and you and I sat down and had a one-on-one. And everything that you talked about has come to fruition here in Danville. I just personally want to say, from me, for the opportunities that you gave me and the wonderful team, facilities team at Everett, to you and Mr. Raleigh and the Leadership Council. I see Patrina's here. She was a product of Everett, worked with us as well. I just can't thank you all enough. What a team that we have, and like Dr. Franks and I talked about, Buddy, a few minutes ago, it just grows from here. So thank you, and I'm excited about the partnership that Avery brings and the four-year institution brings to our community, and I look forward to more partnerships. And thank you so much for the opportunity you gave me personally. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jones.
Councilman Buckner.
Yeah, Dr. Franks, I would just like to thank you for all you do and everything Everett's doing to make Danville a truly better place to live. Thank you to Mr. Raleigh for his continued efforts. I mean, you guys really beat the pavement up and get things done, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. And I just have to say, Everett, first and foremost, is about relationships. I mean, that's how we get things done, and it's through great people like Buddy and Charles Harris and our entire President's Council and faculty and staff. So it's about that team.
Councilman Miller.
Yeah, you said you only have 1,800 students. I mean, Everett students are everywhere. It's like 8,000 students, what I would have estimated. But no, I really appreciate what you've done. Years ago, my daughter had graduated from college, and she didn't have all the requirements to get into medical school. So she went to Everett for some semesters and got those requirements. So, and then my nephew last year, he lives in Prince George near Richmond. He was able to go and get his MBA through Everett.
Yes.
And came to the graduation. So, and then in the hospital, so many nurses we see. I'm glad to hear the nurse practitioner program may come to fruition. I've had 2 local girls, nurse practitioners, that work for me now. Unfortunately, Everett didn't have the nurse practitioner program. They had to get it through ODU. But you know, there's a lot of people who would take advantage of that. So I encourage you to press on with that
To
program.
stay the course, we will.
Stay the course. But again, thank you for what you do and for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. It means so much.
Councilman Bogner.
Yes, Dr. Franks, thank you for being here tonight and bringing a familiar face with you. Always happy to see Buddy down here also, and for the tremendous asset that Averitt is to this city and this region. You know, Blair and I, my wife and I, got a chance to come to a couple of the games so far this year. The stadium is beautiful. You did not oversell that whatsoever. It is a fantastic stadium. And the first game against Hampden-Sydney was one of the most exciting games I've watched. And I go to a lot of football games. I'm a sports guy, you know, but we really enjoyed that game. The end, Averitt pulled out the victory. It was a fantastic game, and crowd was all into it. You can see the students really feeding off the crowd, and seeing people from the city in this area getting behind Averitt is fantastic to see. Averitt is a tremendous asset to this region, and you know, it's a university that has a lot of great history behind it, but I think that probably everybody in here would agree one of the best things that ever happened to Averitt University was when you were hired to take over, because you have done a fantastic job. And you know, I know we got a lot of stuff to cover tonight, so I won't even attempt to go down the long list of reasons why, but the progress that has been made just in these last several years has been tremendous. And so I can't thank you enough for the work that you're doing, and the whole team that you have there. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your comments, but I again say I'm surrounded by incredible people, and I get to be the champion and cheerleader. I got the easiest job. Thank you.
And Dr. Franks, let me add that I know that you're very proud of Averitt University, as we are very proud of Averitt University. And I've had the opportunity on several occasions to meet many of your students, and I've always been very impressed. So let me say, I am proud of the 1,800 quality students you have. And thank you so much for giving us an update.
Thank you very, very much for your time. I'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you. And now for an update of the West Piedmont Planning Commission, please welcome David Hope.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I want to thank you and Mr. Larkin for the opportunity to be here and speak with you for just a few minutes on a regional strategic planning effort at the PDC that we're very excited about and very proud of. But before I say that, I would be remiss if I didn't note that Councilman Miller, your invocation was a blessing. Thank you. Again, we are launching a strategic planning effort across our planning district, and the initial event in this process is going to be what we call the West Piedmont Regional Summit, which will be held at the New College Institute in Martinsville on October 19th, beginning at 11 a.m. The format for the event is going to include several informational presentations, and then following the presentations, there will be facilitated conversations on economic development, education, workforce, technology, and sustainable health initiatives. We have at this point invited over 150 stakeholders from the region across a broad range of areas, including local government, K through 12 education, economic development, higher education, workforce development, healthcare, nonprofits, human service agencies, chambers of commerce, and private sector employers. We have extended at this point formal invitations to your mayor and your city manager and some other city staff. However, any council men who would be interested in attending, you'd be cordially invited to do so, and we would welcome your participation. We are funding this effort in collaboration with the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development. Earlier this year, we received a Building Collaborative Communities grant from that state agency. They're working with us in this process. The event is being facilitated by Bill Leidy with the Side Smart team from Richmond. For those of you not familiar with Bill, he's a veteran of state government, was former director of VRS, and then later in his career was the chief of staff for Governors Warner and Kane. So he's well connected in Richmond, and that was one of the reasons that we've brought him in to help us in this process. And with that being said, he has helped us line up some good guests and presenters for the event. We're going to have Karen Jackson, the State Secretary of Technology, is going to be there. Elizabeth Creamer, the advisor for workforce within the governor's office. We're also going to have Jane Kuziak, who is the executive director of the Council on the Future of Virginia. We're also going to have a yet unannounced representative of Secretary of Trade and Commerce, Todd Haymore, who will be there. We also have some local presenters that will be there that would be of interest to you. Charlie Majors is going to be talking about the Go Virginia initiative, and Carl Stauber from the Danville Regional Foundation is going to be there to talk about a recent regional economic study that his group performed. For the PDC, this process has 3 objectives. We want to start a conversation on these 3 objectives. First being capacity building to better position the PDC to be a convener of regional stakeholders and a facilitator of regional thinking, regional dialogue, and regional collaboration. Secondly, we are hoping to start the conversation on identifying a short list of priorities, objectives, and projects that lend themselves to collaboration by more than one community or more than one group of stakeholders. And lastly, we are hoping to position our communities and our stakeholders to be competitive and successful in the upcoming Go Virginia process by initiating this conversation on regional cooperation and collaboration. So that gets me to my pitch to you tonight. And Mr. Mayor, I've got 3 things, none of which involve asking you for any money. First,
you may continue then.
Thank you. The first is to make you aware of the process, which hopefully I have. I gave you a handout that has some additional information on the process. So again, if you're interested and available, we would appreciate it if you would come. Secondly, to solicit your support and participation. Again, these efforts are only successful as who comes to the table, who engages, and who participates. And lastly, would ask you to advocate with agencies and stakeholders within your community. I'm going to be providing Mayor Gilstrap and Mr. Larkin a list of stakeholders that we've invited to this event. So if there are folks on there that you have good relationships with, that you would reach out and encourage to come and participate, we would appreciate that. If there are folks that are missing from the list that you think would be pertinent and a significant contributor to a regional process, we would appreciate if you would pass those names along to us. And in a nutshell, that's what I have to share with you, and I thank you for a few minutes of your time and would gladly attempt to answer any questions you might have.
But any questions or comments? I'd just like to say, David, that I've enjoyed working with you. You're doing a tremendous job, and you're really helping our PDC, and I appreciate it.
Wow. Thank you, John.
And now please welcome an update from PASS and the CEO, Kay Crane.
Thank you, Mayor Gilstrap and City Council members. I echo Dr. Frank's words of appreciation for all the city has done to make it possible for PASS to do the work that we do. I haven't been here in a while. I've been a little busy. And 2 years ago, we doubled the size of our footprint in Danville, which allowed us to expand our pharmacy and our pediatric services. And believe it or not, a couple of years later, we're already busting at the seams. So Board and I are looking at ways that we can expand to meet the demand for increase in services. Our mission at PASS is to provide quality health care for everyone, but we take it a little bit further with our vision being we want to be a catalyst for change that not only improves people's health, but their quality of life. And I think you would agree that for any city to thrive and grow, you have to have healthy citizens. They have to be able to work they have to be able to play, and they have to be able to have a place at the table. And so we feel like we're a part of that, and we're excited about that. We're also excited that we are a part of the historic district. We love the flags, and we love being a part of all the things the city brings. We love the candy crawl, and our staff gets involved, and we love all of the things we're able to do because we are a part of the city. We were able to receive $64,000 from being a part of the enterprise zone, and those kinds of funds allow us to put those into direct patient care. Many of our patients not only don't have insurance, and so they're more medically involved. Sometimes they don't have homes, they don't have food, they don't have coats, they can't even get the medications. So we have a fund set aside. It's our patient relief fund. And when a patient is struggling and has those needs, if we can't get the resources through referrals, then those kinds of funds allow us to do that. Recently, we received a letter of intent from the YWCA to give past that facility. We're beginning to do the due diligence to give to our board so that we can make a decision if we want to accept the building. It's set for a very long time, so there's a lot of work that would need to be done. So I want to make you aware that that's in the works. It would allow us to expand some of our services, so we're excited about the possibility that would bring. Plus, it would help. I can't stand to see a building sit empty, and as you know, the longer they sit empty, they become decrepit. So we're working on that. One of the other things we're in the process of doing is relocating a generator from our Borton site to Danville. The recent outages, one of the things about when the power goes off for Danville, it affects our 3 other sites because all of our computers are integrated, even our phone system's integrated. So not only do we have to shut down, those sites have to shut down. So we're fortunate enough that our the previous folks that owned a building that we have in Borton invested in generators. So we are looking to relocate one of those. So we'll be working with the city on how we make that happen. Some of the things that we're doing, we're in the process of working with the VA in Salem to become a provider of care for the veterans. A lot of the veterans are having trouble getting into the Veterans Clinic here. So I have a service agreement on my desk that I'm looking at. We just have to sign that. They'll be coming to us not only for medical care, but for dental care as well. So we're excited to be a part of that. We also partner and work with Liberty University, DCC, VCU, JMU, Averett for student rotations for medical students, dental students. That we love being a part of helping educate these young people because not only to me is that important, but we've been able to increase our workforce. We got a dentist from one of the rotations that came through VCU. We've gotten providers for our medical staff that way. We also partner with Danville Regional Medical Center to provide a continuity clinic in our pediatrics department. The students from Danville Regional, they come 1 day a week and they have their own panel of patients. So it's a great experience for them. We also just received a quality grant of $72,500, and that was based on the outcomes that we provide to our patients. The federal government looked at all of our measures, whether it's our diabetic patients, blood pressure, are they all stable? It's just a long list of requirements to meet for us to be qualified for money, so we're very proud of that. We also received an IT grant to upgrade our infrastructure for our IT. And then one of the other things that I'm proud of, it really doesn't go along with medical, but to me it goes to being a part of this community and seeing a need. I sent one of our workers out to the city jail to talk to them about the resources that PAS has. They will bring some of the I hate to call them prisoners, I don't know the other word to use, but inmates, whatever. They will bring them to PAS for health care. Well, she went out to talk to them about our resources and came back in tears. And of course, you know, I know these are people who've broken the law, but still, I said, well, I want to go see. So I did. So I've been working with Mike Mundell, Captain Steve Martin, Barry Mayo, and we even gotten the Attorney General's office interested in coming up with a reentry coordinator who would begin to work with the folks in the city jails so that when they come back into our communities, they have resources. If you're in prison and you come out, you have this whole big plan they've worked on for you. But because you're in city jail and you're only there for no more than 2 years or less, sometimes you just put right back out into the situation what got you in the jail in the first place. So we are working on this, and we're very excited about it. We feel like that it's our moral responsibility to help those who are our most vulnerable citizens to be better citizens, because then I think we all grow and have a better place. So thank you very much. I'll take questions if you have any.
Thank you. Councilman Saunders.
Thank you, Mayor. The Justice Lady, Ms. Crane, and her staff, thank you so much for what you're doing for our region, and you all do it very well. Looking at a few numbers, 98 employees, and you serve 12,855 people, and you're serving Boynton, Chatham, Danville, and Martinsville. I just can't thank you enough for what you're doing.
Actually, we're 130 employees now since that came out. That came out a year ago.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure you know our workforce is growing.
And look like you're, in terms of population, your age group is 45 to 64, 35%? Wow. Now, that include employed and unemployed as well?
Yes.
Well, again, good report, great job. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Councilman Vogler.
Kay, thank you so much for being here tonight and for giving us the presentation and letting us and those watching at home and those who are here tonight just to give a brief insight of all of what PATHS does, which is a tremendous amount. I just want to say real briefly, you mentioned the downtown facility, and it is an amazing facility, the expansion. It is not only a top-notch facility, it's filled with a top-notch staff. Having the opportunity to go down and speak with a lot of the people working there, they do a tremendous job. When I think about PATHS, I think about community, and I think a lot of what you said tonight really kind of exemplifies how important PATHS is in the community and how you go above and beyond to do things to be a major part of the community. And of course, you know, the healthiness of this region is important, and PATHS plays a big role in that. So I want to thank you and encourage folks, you know, if you want to know more about what PATHS has, go to pathsinc.org, pathsinc.org, and you can see all the things that they offer and that they do. They're a tremendous organization. Thank you, Kay.
Thank you.
Councilman Jones.
Sometimes you prepare your report and it's so detailed, and there are people who are watching and listening. So let me pause and say, your report was outstanding. But can I ask you please to share with the community very slowly where is PATH and what do they need to do, or how do they need to do to get connected with PATH?
Well, our site here is at 705 Main Street, which is at the corner of Ridge and Main, right across from the old post office. If they need a doctor, dentist, pharmacy, we do have a pharmacy here, and it's community pharmacy. It's not just for our patients. We have a great pediatricians as well. You can call 799-4122, and we'll be glad to set you up. And if you don't have insurance, that's fine too. We have outreach coordinators that will help you fill out the papers necessary to get insurance. But it's 791-4122. I think I said 799. 791-4122.
I just can't thank you all enough. A lot of times people come before council, and when they come before council, they bring us problems, but you all bring solutions. Again, that number for PATHS is right across on Main Street, across from the post office, 434-791-4122. Thank you all, and I think, Marsha, you're here with, thank you all and everyone who's a part of PATHS for all you do for our community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Shanks.
Ms. Crane, I too want to thank you for your leadership in PATHS. The services you provide are fantastic for our community. I want to say that your addition or your improvements to your building were all first class. It's a beautiful building. I'm excited to hear that you're considering trying to incorporate the YW into the program. I hope it works out. But most of all, I'm really excited and thankful for your possible involvement in veteran services.
I think that'll
I
work
think we
out.
need that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Miller?
Yeah, I have opportunity to daily work with the professionals from both this office and the one in Chatham. And the bottom line, simply this: without PASS, the overall medical care, the training of medical professionals, and the overall health of this community would drop precipitously. This is a great organization. I don't know how we existed before PASS came. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And, Ms. Crane, let me just state that, you know I appreciate you. And I had the honor and privilege of serving as president of the board for ever how long you can do it. And you just do an excellent job. And I thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Excuse me, Councilman Count.
I just want to say I thank you also on
Okay.
great work that you all do. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate it.
Communications from visitors. Citizens who desire to speak on matters not listed on the agenda will be heard at this time. Citizens who desire to speak on agenda items will be heard when the agenda item is considered. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on an item not on the agenda? Please come forward and state your name and address, please. And first, let me ask, are you speaking for a group or individually?
Group.
Group. Would you have that group to stand so we may recognize them? Great. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Okay. My name is Ebony Guy, 331 Hermitage Drive, Apartment E, Danville, Virginia 24541. I do want to say to Mayor Gilstrap and members of council, good evening. I want to apologize in advance if I do have to run out before the meeting is adjourned because I do have a young one back there. As I said, my name is Ebony Guy. I am a resident of Danville and a member of Virginia Organizing, a nonpartisan, nonprofit grassroots organization founded in 1995. We work within our communities, bringing people together to address issues that affect the quality of life in Virginia. And we've already had our members stand. For several years in Virginia, Virginia Organizing has worked on various campaigns such as Ban the Box, Housing Justice on Jefferson Avenue, the Affordable Care Act, and the campaign that brings us here today, Black Lives Matter. We appreciate the swift action of Danville City Police to stop the policy of raised hoods on law enforcement vehicles. Our goal with the Black Lives Matter campaign is to expand the dialogue with residents and our local law enforcement officers. This action shows that residents' voices are being heard. We will continue to work with officials, further engaging clarity as it relates to the policy and safety of our officers in the community. And with that, I will give the rest of my time to Matt Bailey, a member of Virginia Organizing.
Thanks, Ebony. As she said, my name is Matt
Could
Bailey.
you lift that mic up just a little bit? Thank you. So we
Sure.
hear you clearly.
Better?
Better.
Okay.
Thank you.
As Ebony said, my name is Matt Bailey. I'm a member of Virginia Organizing and a member of Grace and Main Fellowship. And like we said, we're so appreciative of the quick response that law enforcement to change that policy on raising the hoods. We understand that it wasn't an intentional form of deception, that it was an oversight, and they responded quickly to the community response. And that was really wonderful to see that. After speaking with several community leaders, we felt that the next appropriate step for transparency and honesty between law enforcement and the community would be to publicly disclose law enforcement policy changes that directly affect the communities. If we had had more direct communication with the police department, in this case of the raised hoods, this controversy could have been avoided altogether if we had had that open communication that we have strived to have with law enforcement. We've been meeting with the chief of police over the last 5 years, at least. At least 5 years. Just around these important issues of transparency and honesty between law enforcement and the community. And so what we're asking you all to do is how can you all ensure that law enforcement policies that directly affect our community, how can you all ensure that those policies are publicly disclosed prior to them going into effect so that we can give feedback?
I'm not sure that I can answer your question.
Okay.
Because a lot of the policies are not city council approved or need our approval. They are just enacted by the department itself. And I'm not sure the city manager sometimes may have input, but a lot of just the policies. Now, if it's referring to laws or to codes, then all that has to come before council. My suggestion would be to continue that dialogue with every department that you think that you need to communicate with, whether it be police, fire, or parks and recreation.
Okay.
I'm familiar with that one. And continue the dialogue with the city manager. I know he has an open line. He's an open door policy. If there's anything that really, well, it don't have to be really bothering you. If you want to discuss anything with me, pick up the phone and call me. I'm pretty easy to find.
Okay.
I'm the only Gil Strap in the phone book.
Okay.
Please continue. I'm not sure I answered the question.
Oh, well, I think you answered it as well as you could. Do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I think we'll take advantage of the open door policy with you, Mayor Gilstrap, and with you, the city manager. We'll just keep the dialogue going and continue our conversation with Police Chief Bradford and anybody else that we need to have a conversation with to make sure that, you know, as Matt mentioned, that there's more clarity as far as policies within law enforcement so that, you know, Danville doesn't get a bad rap, or, you know, our law enforcement officers don't have any stigma on them as it relates to policies, because I know that they were looking at it from a financial standpoint more so than a community standpoint. I think I've talked to Chief Bradford and he, you know, expressed that to me. So I think we'll just keep that conversation going.
And let me just add, and I feel relatively sure I'm speaking for all councilmen, that we too desire transparency in everything that we do. I think it's very important that we as a government be very transparent. And if you have a concern, please call Lee Vogler. He can get anything done.
You can tweet me too.
He can get the snow removed off of your street. I'm sorry, anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the work that you do for our city.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Are there any other citizens that wish to be heard on items not on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to the agenda items. First is item A under minutes, consideration of approval of minutes from a regular council meeting held on September the 6th, 2016. What is your pleasure? Councilman Campbell makes the motion, seconded by Councilman Saunders. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Buckner?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell?
Aye.
Mayor Gilstrap?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Aye.
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Vogler?
Aye.
Mr. Whittle?
Aye.
Under the consent agenda, the following budget items A through F, have been previously discussed by City Council and introduced for first reading. There will be no separate discussion on these items, and they will be enacted by one motion. If discussion is desired by a council member, the items will be removed from the consent process and considered separately. What is your pleasure, Councilman Whittle?
Mayor, I move to approve of the items A through F.
Motion 2, seconded by Vice Mayor Jones. Any discussion or with full opinion? Please call the roll.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Mayor Gilstrap.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Dr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks.
Aye.
Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Mr. Whittle.
Aye.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Appointments, consideration of appointments to the following boards and commissions. Vice Mayor Jones.
Mr. Mayor, if any of these people are here, if it's okay, we'd ask for them to stand and thank them for their services, willing to serve on our boards and commissions. Mr. Mayor, I move with consideration of appointments to the following boards and commissions. Gary H. Davis as a member of the Danville Redevelopment and Housing Authority. Tia Yancey as a member of the Danville Redevelopment and Housing Authority. Jonathan T. Hackworth as a member of the River District Design Commission. Bryce Simmons as a member of the West Piedmont Planning District Commission. And again, thank you for willing to serve.
Courtney Nicholas as well.
Skip number 3, I believe.
I'm sorry. Courtney Nicholas as a member of the River District Design Commission.
Courtney Nicholas.
Is there a second to the motion? Councilman Campbell seconded the motion. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mayor Gilstrap.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones.
Aye.
Dr. Miller.
Aye.
Mr. Saunders.
Aye.
Mr. Shanks.
Aye.
Mr. Vogler.
Aye.
Mr. Whittle.
Aye.
Mr. Buckner.
Aye.
Reverend Campbell.
Aye.
Consideration of approval of a resolution to deny a special use permit to operate a car wash. Open the public hearing. Anyone wish to speak on the car wash, please come forward and state your name.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. My name is Abdullah Nesmith. I'm the owner of Denim Stacks, a retail clothing store. I've been an entrepreneur in Danville for 22 years. I don't have a police record. I'm here just trying to expand my business. And if you have any questions, I can help.
If there are any questions, I'm sorry, could you state your name again?
Abdullah Nesmith.
Any questions? Councilman?
Yes.
Excuse me, Clark.
Should we wait that
Excuse me. We don't do questions in a public hearing. We only take comments from those.
That's right.
I'm sorry. When we go to make a motion, then we will entertain questions, and they can call you back up if they have questions.
Okay.
Anything else you wish to say in support of your business?
Like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for 22 years. I know how to run a professional business, a professional look, and I'm gonna do the best I could if it's approved.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak on item A, operate a car wash? Anyone else wish to speak? Close the public hearing. Councilman, what is your pleasure? Councilman Shanks.
Yes, Mayor. I move for adoption of a resolution denying a special use permit to operate a car wash in accordance with Article 3K, Section C, Item 28 of the Code of the City of Danville, Virginia, 1986, as amended at 234 North Union Street and adjacent parking lot, otherwise known as Grid 2709, Block 17, Parcels 10 and 11 of the City of Danville, Virginia, zoning district map.
Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Dr. Miller seconds the motion. Any discussion? Councilman Shanks.
Mr. Mayor, I want to make it clear that I'm not against business expansion. I'm not against the applicant in this particular case. I think it's a matter of where the location is that is the issue here before us. I wish the applicant well in his business endeavor and hopefully an alternate location where this could take place. But my motion, following staff's recommendation through the Planning Commission and through the River District Design Commission, I felt like is the appropriate motion. And it has nothing to do with the business or the applicant. It has to do with the location. Thank you.
Councilman Campbell?
Mr. Mayor, can I ask Mr. Nesbitt to come
I
forward?
think we can do that. Please come back forward so we can, Councilman Campbell can ask you a question.
I do appreciate you being here tonight,
Thank you.
even though that the planning commission denied, and it was 5-0, in denying you the privilege of having a car wash. It's very touching to me because we need more entrepreneurs, and I think that is one of the ways of reducing violence in our communities where you really can deal with economics. Some of the issues that I'd like for you to address with us tonight, first of all, where you want to have the car wash is right next to the Moore Drive.
Yes, sir.
And I think the major argument with the River District Committee is that it's not appropriate. And they said if it was indoor, they'll be more receptacle to it. Could you address that, your opinion?
I can understand that. It's a busy area. So, I mean, it's a busy area, so I really wouldn't see would create an eyesore. And it's only like I said, pretty much we'll be washing the cars actually behind my store. And I can only do 2 cars at a time, so it would almost be like an appointment type of thing. So I wouldn't think it would be an eyesore, but.
The other issue they was talking about the parking lot, the condition of the parking lot is bad. And having water will make it even worse on a continuous basis. Could you address that?
I came up with a system, or really I didn't come up with it. It's a system that catches all the water, a water containment mat, and pretty much that would catch all the water, and then we would be able to use like a sump pump and suck the water all the way back into the drain system inside the business.
There was a statement in council's work that kind of disturbed me. And I'm gonna read the paragraph to you, brief part of it. It says, "We are strongly opposed to this as we live here and do not enjoy seeing as many people just hanging out on the sidewalk. There are cars right up the hill on High Street. And some of what they're saying is, this is not really a good location, and having more people hanging out, you have some always outside anyway. How do you feel about that, sir?
It's some people ain't. I mean, there's actually an area where people get haircuts, beauty salons. So I guess if they get tired from sitting inside, they come outside to get some fresh air. So it might look that way, but it's not that way.
I am still disturbed in a way because I'm hoping that we can come up with some type of solution to push entrepreneurship, especially with our black men.
Yes.
What if I can address the issue here shortly? I think one of the problems that I have with business development is that too many people look at starting a business from what they see. And there are more businesses that can be developed from what I have not seen. If there was some type of way that you could connect with some of the industry leaders in the community and see if you could provide a service or a product, do you think that would be a stronger way of really enhancing entrepreneurship in the community? And I hope that there are some business leaders in the community who are listening to us. Or maybe if you connect with the Chamber of Commerce or look at the Barkhouse Free Enterprise System that they have at DCC. I'm for what you're doing, but we have to really look at what the River District, because there is a master plan. And much as I like to see this happen, but you have so many things there that it's not appropriate for what we're trying to do with that small limited amount of space and the visibility. Do you think that's business-wise, or can we look at something else, other alternatives to push entrepreneurship in a greater way?
My mind is open for that, and I can understand where you're coming from. Definitely, I can understand that.
Councilman Jones.
I don't want you, first of all, let me thank you for your 2 decades of service that you've given to as an entrepreneur. This one disturbed me tremendously on both sides. I know what kind of business you do. You're a good businessman, and you do the right things and have done the right things. As Councilman Campbell stated, this one is tough. And I was wondering when I came in tonight, would it benefit you if I decided to just table this and let you go back with the plan, as Councilman Campbell said, let you go back and review this and look at it again and get with some people, as he stated, instead of just saying no, table this and let you get with some people and get a business plan together and look at it in a different perspective. And I'm just wondering, would that help you? Because you have done so much for the community, and to say thank you is one thing, but also to support you is another. And I want to support you. So I guess my question is, would it help you if I made a motion to table this and you go back and got with some people who can help you to put together a better business plan? Because as Councilman Campbell stated, and Councilman Shanks stated, so many people, we're following the policies and procedures and it just don't fit the way you want to present it. So will that help you?
That would definitely help.
Before any motion to table, because once the motion to table, I believe the discussion ends. Let's get through the other councilman's comments.
Yes, sir.
And Councilman Campbell, you were.
Yes, I just hope that I agree with Councilman Jones, Vice Mayor, that I see this opportunity.
Yes.
Big opportunity. And I would love for the city of Danville administration, that Mr. Taylor in the back, city manager, how can we take this situation and show what we can do? We can set, it could be a great solution, but I would love for you to focus on trying to manufacture something. How can we spend all with industry leaders in the community and really show what Danville is made of? We can reduce violence, we can reduce shootings, and can be a strong piece. I'm sure Alonzo Jones, myself, and others will do all we can possibly do, and to make something happen. I'm just excited.
Mr. Mayor, if I can just piggyback off that for a minute, because some of those persons that were stated in this letter that Councilman Campbell read about standing on the corner, you are presenting an opportunity to get them off that street. That's a perfect opportunity, and that's why I commend you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Vogler?
Yeah, first let me thank you for all that you've done for this community. You are a great asset to this city, and we need more people like you. And I just want to echo everything Vice Mayor Jones has said. I agree wholeheartedly with what he said, and I also, if I can piggyback off of that, not only potentially tabling this to allow to go back and maybe revisit some of the business plan, but also to try and meet with some of the surrounding property owners and some of the folks who had opposition to this, and see if we could sit down and get everybody on the same page, get everybody moving in the same direction, because we've had a lot of progress in the River District. We've had people such as yourself who have been involved for a long time, even before some of this more recent progress has happened. And if we can get everybody on the same page and make sure we're all moving in the same direction, that is something I certainly support. So I agree with what Vice Mayor Jones has said, and I hope that is the direction we're about to go with. Thank you, Mayor.
Let me, for clarifications, Councilman Vogler and Councilman Jones, my understanding in the opposition, most of it is an outdoor car wash. And they're in opposition to an outdoor car wash in the River District. Now, to resolve that, I don't know if he's willing to build a building, but that would be a question. Are you willing to build an indoor car wash? Because I think, to me, that was the concern of the Planning Commission.
But Mr. Mayor, thank you so much, and true, but I would like to table it so he can go back and get clarity on all of it, and then maybe he will not resubmit this application, but possibly another application.
Before that motion, I saw a hand over here, but Councilman Buckner?
I agree. Abdul, known you for a million years. Enjoyed you being here. Really appreciate you being here. But I think Councilman Jones hit the nail on the head, man. Let's table this thing and let you figure it, get with the right people. Let's figure this thing out. Get you to working even more, man.
All right. Are we, Are we talking about tabling or sending it back to the planning commission?
Table.
Okay, because a table could be the same thing as denying it if we never bring it from the table again. Councilman Shanks.
I understand the desire to work with the businessman here before us, and I too appreciate your investment in our community. My concern is the River District, even though I was against the River District Commission being set up, they are charged with providing guidance on the use of properties and colors of buildings and types of gutters of buildings. They're in charge of all this. And they've clearly voted that this outdoor use, not behind the building, but behind the building is the city parking lot. It's a vacant lot across the right-of-way, right at the corner of Memorial Drive, right at the corner where Union Street comes off of Memorial Drive, heavily congested area. They have recommended, and so has City Council, City Planning Commission, recommended that that's not a good use of that location. I'm not against the car wash. I'm not against it at all. We've got the indoor car wash right up here at the top of the hill. The issue is an outdoor car wash on a vacant lot at the corner of Memorial and Union Street. And I don't want to sound like the bad guy here, but that's pretty clear. There's nothing that can be resolved unless you want to change the guidelines or you want to change the city zoning ordinance. There's nothing to be resolved. So tabling it might seem like a nice thing to do, but it's not going to accomplish anything unless you change the ordinance or change the guidelines. So I'm not arguing against you. I'm just arguing that we're wasting your time and our time tabling it. Thank you.
Councilman Saunders.
Thank you for your service here in Danville and your investment in our city. I concur with Councilman Campbell and Vice Mayor Jones as well. Just for clarity, Mr. Mayor, in terms of a motion to table or to refer back, to table would be no action, but not a denial. Is that correct?
Well,
No
we
action-
already
no
have a
action
motion
tonight.
on the floor. The motion on the floor is to, with a second, is to deny the permit. A motion to table would simply table it, and it would never come back up unless somebody from council wished to bring it back up. So I'm saying table sometimes could be the same as denial.
Okay, so if the motion to table, if it passes, a council member has to bring it up and not the applicant. Is that correct? Is what you're saying?
I'll refer to Clark.
Well, the applicant or the staff could bring it back up, but it would still have to come off the table.
Yeah, okay. It would still have, yeah, it'd have to come off the table.
Thank you.
Kenny, would you share some light for us, please?
Just a few things. If the item is tabled, it can't be tabled forever. Zoning actions have to occur based on state law, usually it's within 90 days. So it would have to come back one way or another to this body. If this is the location that you think is appropriate, then the tabling would allow him to maybe work out some details. Before the meeting, we've talked about other sites that may allow for an indoor car wash. So we're trying to find locations that we felt would meet the needs of the River District, Design Commission, Planning Commission, as well as the applicant. I just wanted to point out that tabling won't in effect just stop it. It does have to come back one way or another to this body.
In 90 days?
Within 90 days.
Or if the motion, or if a substitute motion is to send it back to the Planning Commission, that would not take 90 days.
Correct. You can send it back to Planning Commission for further review. If council doesn't take action, then after a certain period, it's deemed an automatic approval according to the way the state law is written. So it has to come back to be voted up or voted down. If the intention is to give us some time to work out maybe another location or some other things, then it is a possibility. I wanted you to be aware that there's things that we'll have to work with.
Councilman Vogler?
Yes, I guess Ken maybe answer this. In regards to sending back to the Planning Commission, and of course that takes out that 90-day timeline, that's not sending it back as is, it's sending back with revisions to be made, correct? It's not just sending back the same exact thing and then they're looking at it again as is. It would be sent back to potentially make changes, correct? Or are we sending back the exact same thing?
You would send it back to them for further review at that location with that same request. If he decides, and we can find a location that would allow for an indoor, or if he decides to build a building or something else at that site, then that would be a separate request. He'd have to withdraw this location, re-advertise with whatever the new address is. The problem with him building a building at this site is he doesn't own that building. So he'd be building something for someone else to use. And that's why we've discussed trying to find a location that would have an indoor facility. So we've started discussing based on what options are available. I just wanted you to know that ahead of time.
I think what Councilman Vogler, and I'm going to clarify your question, hopefully. Right now is a motion to deny. There is no motion to table or to send it back to planning commission. But can council send it, make a substitute motion and send it back to planning commission for revisions? Or can we just send it back to the planning commission? What do we do there? Clark or Kenny?
If you refer it back to planning commission, it will still be at the same site for the same use for them to look at. They could make recommendations on modifications. I'm not sure what modifications they would make based on it. The issue was outdoor versus indoor. No one was opposed to the car wash itself. It was just the visibility of it. I don't know how to address that at that site. If we can find him an alternative site that would meet the indoor requirements, then this issue would still be on, it would have to come back to you for a denial because it's property specific. It's not necessarily the use, it's the use on that property. If he switches locations, we're gonna have to advertise a different location for it. Am I making sense?
Right. I don't think we're talking about switching locations.
Okay.
We're simply talking about is there any way to make that location acceptable to the River District Commission and the Planning Commission? If not, we're defeating the purpose of the motion to table or to return to Planning Commission. I guess what I'm saying, only if the owner of that property we're talking about is willing to either build a building or put up a screen that's approved by the River District or some type of landscaping, whatever we have to do, but it would have to be approved by the River District Commission and the Planning Commission. So is that possible at that location?
He would have to talk to the owner of the property. As I'm talking to him now, those ideas, the addition wasn't something he wanted to do. We talked about that before just because he's building an addition onto someone else's property. He'd be spending his money for someone else's.
This
He's
is
not the
someone
owner.
else's
This is someone
property.
else's
It's not
property.
yours.
Correct.
Okay.
So we have to talk to the owner to see if the owner's willing to spend the money for him to operate there.
All right. Is there another location that would be suitable for a car wash that you're looking at?
We're discussing that now. We were trying to find locations. We weren't sure which way council was going to go, so we started to present a couple of locations. Depending on what happens tonight, I can possibly find some more.
Councilman Shanks.
10 minutes ago, I asked to speak, and there were about 2 issues, and I was not recognized by the chair. The issues were whether sending it back to the Planning Commission would accomplish anything. The Planning Commission voted 5-0, and they would have offered other suggestions. To sending it back to the Planning Commission is just asking them to re-review a case they've already reviewed and send a recommendation to. Makes no sense. The question about tabling to find another location makes no sense either, because it would not be the same case if it was at a different location. We're not being prudent with his time or our time by not taking care of this issue tonight. The Planning Commission and the River District Design Commission has looked at both have looked at this case and would have offered other alternatives if they were available. Thank you for recognizing.
Councilman Saunders.
Mr. Mayor, I read the comments from the Planning Commission as well. Bottom line is, if council votes to deny the request has been denied, the applicant, I assume, can apply at some other time later on. If the motion to table passes, the applicant has 90 days to decide what he wants to do, to go back to the Planning Commission and or drop it altogether. You have a businessman investing in our city, doing well, I think we know that. So I don't see any net difference or what's wrong with the motion to table. You're simply giving the applicant 90 days to decide what he wants to do. That's the bottom line. So there is no net loss there at all, in my view. And I'm fine with the motion should it be made.
Well, Councilman Saunders, if the motion to table was to be approved, the owner nor the entrepreneur could bring it back to council. Only council could do that, or staff request council to do that. Only council can bring it back from the table.
Okay.
And that's all I'm trying to say, whether that's 90 days or 5 years. I think if there's any more questions, we'll call you back up. Thank you. Who is the next? Councilman Miller.
Yeah, when we all started this, I think Vice Mayor Jones' intent was to table it, to give this businessman, a respected businessman, an opportunity to come up with another plan and get it back later. Any of us can bring it back if he's got a new plan, to an alternative plan to get us through this. So I think that was your intention.
And that's why, Mr. Mayor, Dr. Miller is absolutely correct. If you listen, we're having a discussion. The young man came before us knowing that the resolution was to deny. He stood before us, did not want to deny this. He came in support of his plan. He didn't come in support of us denying his plan. He came in, when he made his introduction, he explained to us that I'm an entrepreneur, been an entrepreneur in our city for over 20 years. And he wanted some support for this plan. This gives him the opportunity, and it started happening in his room already, to go back and review his thought. It may not, as Ford stated, this may not be the place for him, but that should be his choice, not ours. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
If I could pick back up,
The question I would have is it his choice? He doesn't own the property.
And not one time, Mr. Mayor, did he say,
Excuse me, Councilman Jones. He doesn't own the property. The owner has to make those decisions. He wants to run a business, okay? But the owner has to make that decision, not the person using it. Am I correct on that?
But Mr. Mayor, if with all due respect, we're not giving him the opportunity to take it back to the owner. That's what I want to do. Give him the opportunity to take it back to the owner to get all this information he possibly can get.
But by rules that we passed, he has in 90 days he can take it back.
That's if we table it.
90 days he can take it back.
He can take it back?
Even if we deny it, he can take it back in 90 days.
That's not true.
If you deny it, he can't take it back. He would have to bring a different location to this body.
He can't bring modifications.
Not if you deny it. Not if you deny it. That would end this case. If you would table it, he could go back, ask the owner of the property if he's willing to do, he or she, I'm sorry, I don't know if the owner's a male or female, if they would be willing to modify, allow the construction, or actually construct something. If they fail to do that, then you come back with the, no, it's going to be an outdoor car wash, and this board would have to decide upon it. We also have time to work with him on alternative locations. At this point, there's just some questions I don't know answers to.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we table the applicant's request.
Second.
I'm sorry, who seconded it?
Second.
Motion made to table, seconded by Councilman Jones, seconded by Councilman Campbell. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Aye.
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
No.
Mr. Vogler?
Aye.
Mr. Whittle?
No.
Mr. Buckner?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell?
Aye.
Mayor Gilstrap?
No. Item B, consideration of approving an ordinance to rezone 2012 Murphy Circle. I open the public hearing. Anyone wish to speak? Please come forward and state your name.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Janine Howard. I am the Danville District Superintendent for the United Methodist Church, meaning this whole region, including the city of Danville. I am also, I have a dual role. I am also the president of the Danville District Board of Missions, which is now, as of July 1st, the owner of the Stokesland United Methodist Church property. The congregation that worshiped there had to discontinue as a church, and because of the polity of the United Methodist Church, the property passed to the Board of Missions. We're making this request because essentially we want to carry on work that is church and mission related in the Stokesland community for the benefit of the immediate community and for the benefit of the city of Danville, but with a little bit of expansion, and that's to be able to partner with agencies and not-for-profit groups so that they can use the facility and we can provide a full array of services to people in that community. And it's not going to be anything for rent or to produce income. It will just help us maintain that building and that property in an appropriate way. So I'm here to answer questions if you have any.
Thank you. Any questions? Anyone wish to speak on the consideration of approving an ordinance to rezone 212 Murphy Circle?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilman. My name is Michael Ellison. I'm with the Recovery Refuge Peer Support Center. I have vested interest in that property. I am one of the nonprofits that is planning on operating out of there. We are a peer recovery center that offers to bridge a gap between traditional and non-traditional services. You heard from PAPS today talking about the reentry and some of the issues of those coming out, knowing where community resources are. I also work with Barry Mayo in his reentry program. We cater to the people that have addiction and mental health challenges by offering lived experiences, bridging the gap between what is traditional service providers and non-traditional service providers. And here again, like Ms. Howard said, if y'all have questions, I'd be more than happy to address exactly what we do. Thank you.
Your position is supporting the...
Yes, okay. I am in support.
Okay. Any others? Anyone else wish to speak? Close the public hearing. Councilman Vogel.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt an ordinance rezoning from OTR, Old Town Residential, to conditional TOC, Transitional Office Commercial, 212 Murphy Circle, otherwise known as Grid 0613, Block 004, Parcel 000051 of the City of Danville, Virginia, zoning district map.
Seconded by Councilman Jones. Discussion. Councilman Miller.
Question, I guess, yes, the fund, this sounds like a great usage of this building, by the way. I've been a Methodist since the day I was born. But where does the funding come from?
Presently it will come from the Danville District Board of Missions. We have some funds that are invested with the foundation in the Virginia Conference of the United Methodist Church. The worshiping congregation that was there is continuing to use the sanctuary, and they are supporting their own worshiping community. There is a satellite of Mosley Memorial United Methodist Church, but we are allowing them to use that sanctuary. So that's helping right now. We have funds, and we're receiving money from various sources since we are the church.
Thank you.
Once we get through the rezoning request, we'll certainly be looking at some other streams of funding. But that property is the obligation of the Danville District and of the Board of Missions. So it is our obligation to take care of it no matter what.
So it would still be a tax exempt?
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Vogler?
Aye.
Mr. Whittle?
Aye.
Mr. Buckner?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell?
Aye.
Mayor Gilstrap?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Aye. Item C, consideration of adopting an ordinance regarding tax exemption for the Community Foundation of the Dan River Region. I open the public hearing.
Good evening. I'm Peter Howard. I'm the immediate past president of the Community Foundation of the Dan River Region. Thank you for considering our request for tax relief. Be glad as best as I can to answer any questions for you.
Any questions? What's the pleasure of, oh, excuse me. Anybody else wish to speak on the tax exempt status of the Community Foundation? Hearing none, close the public hearing. Councilman Campbell.
Mr. Mayor, I move for adopting an ordinance to designate the Community Foundation of Danville Region LLC as being exempt from local real estate property taxation.
Seconded, Dr. Miller. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Saunders?
Aye.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Vogler?
Aye.
Mr. Whittle?
Aye.
Mr. Buckner?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell?
Aye.
Mayor Gilstrap?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Aye.
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Item D, consideration of adopting an ordinance to allow for funds from the revenue sharing program from VDOT. What's the pleasure of council? Councilman Shanks.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve an ordinance amending the FY 2017 budget appropriation ordinance for projects to be undertaken within the city and to be financed anticipating revenues from the Virginia Department of Transportation Revenue Sharing Program funds in the amount of $1,184,562.
First reading. Second is Councilman Saunders. Item E, consideration of adopting an ordinance to allow for funds from the State of Good Repair Program from VDOT. What is your pleasure? Councilman Shanks.
Mayor, I move for adoption of ordinance amending the FY 2017 budget appropriation ordinance for maintenance projects to be undertaken within the city and to be financed anticipating revenues from the Virginia Department of Transportation State of Good Repair funds in the amount of $450,000. First reading.
Is there a second? Councilman Campbell, first reading. Item F, consideration of adopting an ordinance to allow for funds from the Highway Safety Improvement Program from VDOT. What is your pleasure? Councilman Buckner.
Mayor, I make a motion we approve an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2017 budget appropriation ordinance for safety projects to be undertaken within the city and to be financed anticipating revenues from Virginia Department of Transportation, VDOT, Highway Safety Improvement Program, funds in the amount of $45,000.
Second. Councilman Shanks, that is also for first reading. Item G, consideration of approving a resolution to execute a moral obligation with American National Bank. What is your pleasure? Councilman Buckner.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve a resolution approving the authorization, execution of a moral obligation agreement by and between the City of Danville and the American National Bank and Trust Company.
Is there a second? Councilman Vogler, discussion on the motion?
Yeah, I got one.
I'm sorry?
Sure. I did read it, and I was curious, the terms and rates and conditions.
Mr. Tucker, our Economic Development Director, is here. He may be able to answer that question. He's looking for the terms of the borrowing. Just for your information, this is something that the IDA is borrowing the money to make the fits to the building.
In reference to 500 Stinson?
Yes.
The term would be rolled into the 20-year amortization schedule for the mortgage of the property, the existing mortgage of the property.
This is, obligation is, if the IDA defaults, then the city has to cover that loan, correct?
Correct. It's a moral obligation. It does not lend the full faith and credit of the city. However, it is a moral obligation saying that the city would support the IDA in paying this.
Councilman Whittle, I'm not sure we answered your questions, but.
The rate?
Terms?
Yeah, terms.
Do we know the terms of the IDA?
I would have to go back and double check the exact, the interest rate for
Yes,
that.
sir.
I believe it's a 20-year 4%, but I'll confirm that for you.
Thanks.
And
Any other discussion?
I'll add that the the company is going to be paying lease payments for this to cover the cost of the mortgage.
Plus
Correct.
the interest, plus the interest.
Plus the interest and a little bit.
There is a lease purchase agreement with Overfinch North America that covers the actual purchase of the building and the upfit of the building, plus the interest, and then an administrative fee for the IDA facilitating this transaction.
Okay.
Any other
That's all I
discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Shanks?
Aye.
Mr. Vogler?
Aye.
Mr. Whittle?
Aye.
Mr. Buckner?
Aye.
Reverend Campbell? Mayor Gilstrap?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Aye.
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Saunders?
Aye.
Communications, city manager,
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
city attorney,
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
city clerk.
Nothing, sir.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Vogler?
Batting leadoff, just how I like it. I want to give a shout out to our colleague Madison Whittle. I think it was officially his first resolution that he read tonight, if I'm not mistaken. So you're officially in now, Madison. We're happy to have you here.
Welcome aboard.
I just want to point out, and I don't want to read too many of these because I know we got a long list behind of some folks that probably want to mention some of this stuff, but Ballad Brewing, which is coming soon to Craighead Street. We had the announcement this past week. Another fantastic addition. Our economic development team has been doing an amazing job for quite a while, and especially we've seen the fruits of the labor here in the last couple months with Kyocera and Overfinch and the progress at the Mega Park. And we got a lot more great announcements coming on the way that folks should keep an eye out for. I just want to mention briefly, the Children's Festival will be this Saturday downtown the Carrington Pavilion. It's always a great event. I encourage folks that have young children and anybody who just enjoys a good time to go down and check it out. They have a lot of fun, good food, rides, all kinds of good things. I also want to mention there is a new civil rights exhibit about the history of civil rights in Danville that is at 210 North Union Street. They had their official opening this past week. I had a chance to go down there. I took Kingston down there. And I know some other members of council, Councilman Campbell I saw there. They have a fantastic a part of the exhibit talking about Councilman Campbell's father. Encourage folks to go check that out. They're going to have another special event for it Thursday, October 13 from 5 to 7. Encourage people to go check that out. It's also going to be open during the River District Festival and moving forward over the next year. But it's a great exhibit talking about the history of civil rights history in Danville. It's a fantastic exhibit. And lastly, I just want to point out, I think the opening pitch was about 20 minutes ago, but we got a Toronto Blue Jays fan down there and our city manager. Of course, you all know that I support a good team in the Baltimore Orioles, and we will hopefully be victorious tonight. And so the city manager and I are going to have bragging rights here. We'll know in a few hours. But I just want to say, go Orioles, and that's all I got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Whittle?
Socks.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Buckner?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Dr. Franks and everybody from Averitt that was here tonight. Also, wanted to shout out to Miss Jessica Griffin, who's here in the crowd with us tonight, and some Tunstall students I see that are here from their, what class are you here with? Government class, there you go. That's what they're doing here, trying to figure out what we're doing.
Good job, Buck.
Mr. Bruce Hedrick has been on a hiatus, and it's great to see Mr. Chuck Vipperman as well. That's all tonight. Thank you, guys. Shout out to my media people.
Reverend Campbell?
Yes, to piggyback off what Councilman Vogel stated, I went down also for the Danville Civil Rights Movement Museum. It's very nice, and I hope that many of our citizens will go down and look at it, and especially our young people, for them to be aware of our history. I would like to ask a question to the city manager, if I could, Mr. Mayor.
Certainly.
My understanding, the River Fest, River District Fest, is that in partnership with the city of Danville?
I believe that our Parks and Recreation Department does help them in some way to, and of course we work with them with the police department and others to block off streets that they asked to have blocked off, but it's actually a separate group that runs the festival, and they're making requests of the city for certain things to help them accomplish the River District Festival. But we're involved in a number of ways. The City of Danville Parks and Recreation Department has a Glow with the Flow run Friday night, which I've seen Dr. Miller run in, and I think a few other council members have run in it too. And we do try to help them as much as we can in a number of ways. But it's not our event, no.
It's not, well, it's just kind of disturbing to me for them to be marketing the River District and the way that it's moved with the great turnout that they're having. It just seems like it should be a partnership with the city, especially once their grant money has terminated. And then for all the tourists that come and all the activities, because we charge them to rent the facility. And that just seems like that is not exactly fair. So at some point, I would love for us to address this issue and make the decisions of just what we want to do for the future of the River District Fest. It's wonderful, we have a great turnout, but I just can't see where it is that it needs to go to the next level. For me, I like to see it as a partnership, and I hope that council can have a work session on that in some way for us to look at it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Gilstrap.
Let me just welcome, glad everyone could attend. Welcome for watching it on TV. My congratulations to Barry Mayo and his team of volunteers for an excellent Southwest Virginia CARES program this morning. It was excellent, well, this morning and this afternoon, all day. But it was an excellent program. Barry, if you're watching, you did a great job, and your team did a great job. Congrats to GW football. I just thought I'd throw that in there. It's just nothing against Tunstall, but we didn't beat Tunstall. I saw that. I had the opportunity to attend the Intertape presentation from their CEO, who came to Danville today and presented our Intertape with the Gold Medal Award, or Gold Award, for being the most outstanding industry in their entire chain of industries all over the United States. I thought that was excellent. Also, let me say that Councilman Vogler, the Children's Festival is not just for children. I have a great time. It is fun. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Jones.
I was at a community event on Murphy Circle last week, and one of the things that came out at the table is they said when council members are on TV and they get in discussions, do you all be mad with each other? So the answer, the answer to that is no. We have a great council. We have great debate. When we leave here, the cameras go off and we go and have naps together. So I want you all to know it's just healthy debate, and I want to thank council for the healthy debate. Also, congratulations to Patrina Carter. This is my first opportunity to do this. She was appointed by the governor to the Institute Board of Directors. So congratulations to you on that. And there's a young lady in our audience on tomorrow. She'll be 16 years old. Her last name happened to be Griffith. So Alana, happy birthday, early birthday, and sweet 16. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Dr. Miller.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago, and I want to thank Mr. Larkin. I mentioned to him we had all these videos up here and nothing was ever going on them, so suggested that maybe we could put our agenda and keep people up to date at what we were doing, and it didn't take him long, and it's up there, and I think it's worked very well. The Tunstall students, I feel sorry you get an assignment, you have to come listen to city council. I guess it's part of the game. And I'm going to tell a joke on myself. I got mixed up. I thought the River District Festival was this Friday night, and this weekend, and the Glow with the Flow was this Friday. So Sunday night at 7 o'clock, this 2 nights ago, I went down, started in the middle of town, ran the entire race, had a flashlight, ran down the thing, back up the trail, and back into town.
We'll pray for you, Doc.
Completed the 5K race by myself. So, but I'm ready. It's just not going to be this Friday.
At least you won.
I won. No, I blew the competition away. But anyway, it's next weekend. Next weekend, the River District Festival, Glow with the Flow, etc. Thank you.
Mr. Saunders.
Thank you. I too want to say to Barry Mayo and Southwest Cares and volunteers, thank you for serving our city, our region, and the service you provide is certainly needed. You do a great job, and I agree with the mayor. Excellent event today. I also attended this afternoon the funeral homegoing service for Elder Richard Lee Harris. Great, great young man. Very, very sorry to see him leave, but we all know that our time will come one day. The event was well attended, literally standing room only, people from all around. So I want to thank his family for sharing him with our city, our region, and by helping so many people. And I did not know until today that Elder Richard Lee Harris was a sparring partner with Muhammad Ali. I didn't know that until today. So a great man in our midst, and he's certainly in our midst, and he will be missed in our region in terms of how he helped our people. Danville is enjoying a lot of economic success, and image is very important to our city. And with regards to police, law enforcement, they have some very, very tough jobs. Very tough jobs. With regards to the camera issue, it has gotten a lot of attention, and I think the end result showed how the police, law enforcement, and the community can come together. I will say I was at the event when the question came up about the hood being up and blocking the camera. The police chief was there as well. I got the impression that the police chief, was not aware of the concern until that came up that night. And the question was also raised, if the hood has to be up because of the engine trouble, can cameras be installed in grills? And the chief did say that it's worth exploring. He would explore that. And he also reminded us that our police officers do in fact wear cameras as well. With regards to the hoods being up on Jefferson and Calhoun, I've been out of town that day for a city event. When I came back on the way home, I saw those same vehicles with the hoods up. I also saw about 25 or 30 people on the sidewalk watching everything. So with regards to this issue, while it did get a lot of attention, I'm very pleased that the matter has been resolved. I'm very proud of our police chief and our police officers, law enforcement, deputies, public safety, you name it. Very proud of the work that they do, and very proud of our citizens for sitting down and talking and working together to bring resolutions to issues and to matters of concern. Yes, there are problems all over the country. Danville, at least to this point, has not experienced the problem to the degree that we have seen on media all over our country. And I thank our police department, law enforcement officers, and our city employees for that. And I remind us that law enforcement is hard work. It's sacrifice for the officer, the families as well. And I understand that the problem in terms of shortage is not just in Danville, but it's nationwide, as we see more people not wanting to go into law enforcement because of all the issues associated with it. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not blaming anyone, okay? No one should lose their life unnecessarily without cause. And anything that happened needs to be justified. From what I'm seeing in our city, that appears to be the case. Decisions are made and justified. Oftentimes, our police officers have the legal right to do other things, but they exercise caution and don't do it, putting themselves at risk. So I applaud our police officers. I applaud our community personnel, our community people, volunteers, those who are concerned. And as was said tonight, the volunteers, those who are concerned, don't just come to us. They talk to the police chief as well. I think that's great. That's the way it should be done. And I know that our police chief is amenable and want to hear their concerns. I understand in Virginia, for example, the state police, there are 116 vacancies. They cannot fill the state police vacancies, 116, because people are choosing not to go into law enforcement for whatever reason. That tells me that that's an issue, that's a problem, and I think that I know Dan was aware of that, but we must make sure that we are fully staffed, our officers are well trained, and that we have people in the pipeline to protect and keep our city safe. So I want to say again, special thanks to our police chief, to our community, for those who share their concerns with the police department, and for those who are trying to help keep our city strong and present the best image for us that will help us with regards to economic development, jobs, and more success in our city. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Shanks?
Yes, I too had some comments with regard to our Danville Police Department. But before I do so, I want to just say to Chuck Vipperman and his family that y'all have been in our prayers and thoughts in the loss of Granny Vipperman and other members of the family. Chuck, glad to see you back, but I'm sorry for what you've been through the last couple of weeks. With regard to Danville Police Department and also with regard to the raising of the hood issue, I just want to say that the Danville Police Department has gone out of its way to be transparent, to be open and honest. And even at the community engagement at Bible Way Church, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, it was a wonderful event where the police department and the community gathered at Bible Way in the parking lot, and there was a festive event there, and it was well done. It was everybody had a good time. But my point I want to go back to is sometimes we don't give the Danville Police Department the respect and the honor that it should have. If you think back, as community police departments now are going through the process of cameras, body cameras, and are often fighting it, Danville went through the process of body cameras for every police officer 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know, it was at least 4 years ago. And the police department didn't fight it, and they use it very effectively. And I'm glad that Danville and the police chief sought funds at the time, grant money at the time, to equip the city police department with body cameras. And I think that was a great accomplishment. And since then, the dash cameras have been added, and I really believe that we need to acknowledge how transparent our police department has been, and working with the community and working with Ministerial Alliance and working with other groups. They have gone out of the way to be transparent, open, and honest. And I feel like this hood issue, as suspicious as it could have looked or may have looked, it didn't make any sense for a police officer to get out of his car, turn his back on a suspect, and open his hood. That's highly unlikely maneuver. So, I mean, if we all take a time to think about a situation and try not to make it what it isn't, then I think we'll all be better off. But let's not give the police department more issues than they need to have. We all need to work together as a community. We all need to work together to live together as friends, respect each other, and I hope that our community will remain free of the types of issues that have come up in other communities. Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.